Good morning. It's another Monday, and this is my second installment of my motivational messages while we're all under quarantine. I trust you're all doing well and staying safe at home and finding things to do. In fact, I want to talk about that concept today. As you can see here, I this is one I haven't covered yet this year, but I know it's a message I've shared with you in past years, and that's this fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And right now, we're all finding ourselves stuck at home. And there's the danger of getting a fixed mindset during that time. Now, I think we've all been sick before, and sick in bed, and so sick we can't go to school, so sick we can't get up and play. I think we all know people who fake getting sick and stay home and play video games all day or chat on their phones all day. But I think we've also been sick to where we had to stay home for a day or two or maybe more, uh, or maybe we spent some time in the hospital and just couldn't get out of bed and couldn't do things on our own. Right now, I think we're all experiencing getting snowed in, and I think we've all had that same experience of being snowed in, where again, there's not a whole lot we can do. There's not a whole lot of places we can go. But this quarantine is a lot different than that. It's a time where they're actually discouraging us from getting together with our friends. They're discouraging people to spend time with their families, go shopping. The theaters are closed. The restaurants are closed. All the hangouts are closed, and this is a little bit different. And the danger with that is we're going to lay in our beds all day. And if I took a raise of hands, and said how many of you have spent the entire day in your bed, I'm sure about 50% of you would say, yep, I've done that already in the last 3 to 4 weeks, spent an entire day in bed. Um, but I want to talk about, avoiding the fixed mindset of, hey, there's nothing I can do, there's no place to go, it's just going to be a bunch of wasted time, versus a growth mindset where we can spend this time growing. And it's interesting because my dad sends out a weekly family letter during the quarantine. This week he sent out number 5, and in his second letter to us, he challenged everybody in the family, use this time for growth. Don't let it be wasted. And that's what I want to challenge you with, realizing, hey, you're really in a very unique opportunity. An opportunity where you do have a lot of time on your hands, and time in which you're not sick in bed or completely stuck inside the house. And there are things that you can get accomplished while you're there. One of the things that, as soon as I realized that this was going to happen, one of the things that I miss the most is doing a lot of reading. When I was working at the university, I did a lot of reading, but with coaching and athletics and teaching 6 different classes and all that, I get really busy and I don't read. But picked up this book. I brought a whole bunch of books home from school, grabbed a whole bunch of books that I have here, and I said, here's ones that I need to read. This one's about a German spy. He's a German who was a spy during World War II for the Allies, and was a conspirator in the plot to kill Hitler. Great book. Um, couldn't put it down. It was exciting. Here's another one that I'm reading right now about Eddie Rickenbacker, the World War One flying ace, and that another fascinating book. And then I have a whole bunch of other books right here that are waiting in the wings for me to read. One of the things that you can do is reading, and I remember Dr. G, Anton Goyak, always would say, leaders are readers. And I think all of us can set aside time. So every day I try to say, hey, here's an hour where I'm just going to set aside this time to read. And I think we can all do that and say, hey, here's a block of time, here's an hour or whatever, where I am just going to use this time to read, because we have that time now. Studying. I think you're all getting homework from teachers and things to do. Use that time to study. Or maybe there's always been a topic that you're like, man, I've always been fascinated with that topic, and the teacher went so quickly through it. Hey, jump on YouTube, jump on the internet if you have it, grab a book, study up on that and do that. Um, Here's another one that I'm trying to work on, and that is exercising. Well, up until today, obviously with the foot of snow outside, I was trying to run like every other day. I have weights down here in my basement. Do some lifting or just get outside and work. I had to move my pig pen around, so I was digging fence post holes and putting up new fencing and just getting out and working, cutting down trees, things like that. Get out and do some exercise, and again, set some time aside every day or have it scheduled every other day where you're going to exercise. That's all part of growth. Growth is not just mental growth; it's physical growth as well. Projects. Maybe this would be a great year to plan out a garden. I'm trying to think, how can I use my basement and some extra lighting that I might have to get a garden pre-started, so that when the snow does melt, I can get it planted and get my garden out ahead of time. Or maybe there's a car in the garage that you and your dad or you and your grandpa, or a truck or something like that you've always talked about working on or fixing up, and maybe now's the time for you to say, hey, can I spend some time in the garage and working on this? Can you show me a few things and then work on it for a while? And maybe this is a great time to pick up a project like that. Or maybe somebody in your family has wood tools, saws and chisels and things like that, and maybe you're like, I need to learn. I want to learn to do some woodworking. Or maybe you remember some of the things Mr. Niven taught you, and again, you have that out in a barn or a wood shop, and maybe now's a great time to say, hey, maybe I'll try building a birdhouse, for the summer, or something else that really catches your attention, and study that. Right now, I've been planning to build a pole shed out back. So my brother, who's a builder, I contacted him about supply lists and drawings and things like that. So I'm just kind of really studying up on everything that I'll need to get this done and make it happen, in my backyard, so that when everything is ready, I can get to work on that. So maybe there's some projects that you could like say, oh, that's something I could spend some time working on each week or every day or every other day. And last one is work on building relationships. We all have technology, Facebook Messenger with live video, or you guys got Snapchat and TikTok and all that stuff. There are things out there where you can stay connected and learn how to connect with people and just talk about, hey, what's going on and what are you doing, and share stories, share memories and things like that. I think one of my daughters connected with one of her friends and watched a movie, together, but in different homes. Same movie, different house, but they talk to each other through the movie and stuff like that, like maybe they would at a theater. I'm going to show you one more slide here, and this is important. I talk about having a growth mindset. It's only going to happen if you set a goal. And like I said at the very beginning, when I saw this coming, I decided, hey, here's the time I'm going to spend reading, and I set a goal of how long I wanted to read every day, or I wrote down a list. I have this spiral notebook, and I write down a list. Here's all the outdoor projects, or here's the school projects I still need to work on, or here's this, and set aside time and make sure I do that, or here's my running schedule, and set a goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, have somebody accountable, have somebody check it off for you, and try to reach that goal. For running, my goal is to get down to a 9 minute and 30-second mile. Right now I'm at 10:10, so I got 40 seconds I want to shave off. I'm going pretty slow these days, but set a goal and work towards achieving that. Or maybe you're reading. I want to read a book a week. Set that goal and get to it. But don't waste this time. Don't get a fixed mindset of this is just going to be a bunch of wasted time. I'm going to do a bunch of mindless nothing, watching YouTube, or just watching movies all day, or doing nothing but letting my mind turn to mush just watching stuff. Keep your mind active, keep your body active, and grow. The challenge that my dad gave is, when this is all over, will you be a better person than when it started? And I think that's the challenge we all need to have, is when this is over and we get together again, will you be the same person, or will you have kind of declined a little bit because you just laid in bed all day and did mindless stuff? Or when you get together with people, will you notice, oh man, I grew, I learned something new, I worked out? Will people notice? Will you notice? And I think that's the mindset we need to have, is will we grow, and will we notice that at the end? Well, I trust you're all doing well, and I hope you have a good week ahead. Hopefully the shoveling won't kill you today. I know I'll probably get the snowblower out later and take care of the snow. Hopefully it'll all be gone soon and kind of get back to that nice spring weather we were experiencing earlier. Anyway, I miss you and look forward to seeing you in class again, hopefully before the end of the year. Take care of yourselves.